All right, so you sent over a really fascinating stack of articles and reports all about the impact of AI on the future of work.
Yeah.
It seems like 2025 is going to be a huge CE year for this,
Oh, yeah.
with predictions from Google Cloud,
Mm-hmm.
analysis from Goldman Sachs,
Right.
even some Wikipedia deep cuts on intelligent agents. Looks like you're really trying to get a handle on this.
Absolutely. I mean, it's one of the most talked about topics right now, and for good reason.
So what's the mission for this deep dive? What do you want to walk away understanding?
Well, I think the main thing I want to kind of tease out is how AI is not just automating jobs away,
Right.
but it's actually creating entirely new ways of working,
Okay.
potentially even partnering with us in ways that we can't even imagine yet.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just about robots taking our jobs. It's about how we can use these incredible new tools to augment our own abilities.
Yeah. It's like everyone's preparing for this new reality where you might be collaborating with AI teammates or your managers figuring out how to lead a team of humans and robots.
Right, exactly.
There's a lot to unpack here.
Absolutely. One of the biggest shifts we're seeing is the rise of what's being called the hybrid workforce.
Okay.
Both Google Cloud and Goldman Sachs are predicting that these mixed teams of humans and AI are going to become increasingly common.
So what does that actually look like in practice? Can you give us a real-world example?
Sure. Imagine you're leading a marketing team.
Right.
Instead of just relying on your human team to analyze data and develop campaigns, you might have an AI marketing analyst working alongside you.
Wow.
This AI could process massive amounts of data,
Right.
identify trends, and even suggest creative approaches that you might not have considered.
So it's not just about replacing human marketers.
No, not at all.
But it's about giving them a powerful tool to enhance their own capabilities?
Exactly. It's about collaboration,
Okay.
not replacement.
That's a pretty big change, though. I imagine it would require a whole new set of skills for managers to be successful in that kind of environment.
You're absolutely right. It's a huge shift in thinking.
Yeah.
You know, as a manager, you would need to understand the capabilities and limitations of your AI teammates,
Okay.
just like you do with your human team.
So you're not just managing people anymore.
Exactly. You're managing a blend of human and artificial intelligence.
And let's not forget about HR. How do you even begin to manage a workforce that includes AI? I mean, are we talking about onboarding AI employees?
Yeah.
Performance reviews for algorithms?
Yeah, I know it sounds crazy, but that's the reality we're heading towards. HR departments are going to have to adapt. We're talking about potentially onboarding, training, and even evaluating the performance of AI employees.
Wow.
It's a completely new way of thinking about workforce management.
Okay, so hybrid teams are one big shift.
Yeah.
But what about these AI agents everyone's talking about? They sound straight out of science fiction.
Well, they do sound futuristic,
Yeah.
but they're quickly becoming a reality. Our Wikipedia source defines an intelligent agent as an entity that can perceive its environment and take actions to achieve specific goals.
Okay, so it's not just about responding to commands.
No, it's about being proactive,
Right.
having a sense of purpose.
So, for example, instead of just having a chatbot answer questions about my order, an AI agent could actually manage the entire order fulfillment process.
Exactly. And it could do so seamlessly across different channels online, in-store, or through a mobile app.
Okay.
This would free up human employees to focus on more complex or specialized tasks.
Right, so it's not about replacing those employees entirely.
Right. It's about finding the right balance
Right.
between human and artificial intelligence.
It sounds like AI agents could have a huge impact on customer experience.
Absolutely. Imagine an AI customer service agent that
Boy.
can not only answer your questions, but also anticipate your needs
Yeah.
and offer personalized solutions.
So it's not just about efficiency.
No.
It's about creating a more personalized and enjoyable experience for the customer.
Exactly. It's about creating a win-win for both the business and the customer.
So we've got hybrid teams and AI agents. But there's another type of AI that's also generating a lot of buzz. Expert AI systems.
Yes, both Goldman Sachs and that first article you sent talk about these specialized AI systems that have deep industry-specific knowledge.
Okay.
It's like having an entire team of experts at your fingertips.
Can you give us an example of what this might look like in a specific industry?
Sure. Let's take healthcare.
Okay.
Imagine an expert AI system trained on a massive data set of medical records,
Yeah.
research papers, and clinical trials.
Okay.
This AI could assist doctors in diagnosing diseases,
Wow.
recommending treatment plans, and even predicting patient outcomes.
So it's not just about replacing doctors. It's about giving them a powerful tool to enhance their decision-making.
Exactly. It's about augmenting human expertise, not replacing it.
And it's not just healthcare. You can have expert AI systems for finance,
Right.
manufacturing, education, any industry where deep knowledge and expertise are critical.
Exactly. The possibilities are pretty much endless.
It sounds like the potential here is huge. But how do companies actually create these expert AI systems?
Well, Goldman Sachs predicts that companies will develop these systems by integrating AI with their own proprietary data. They specifically mention methods like RAG, which helps the AI pull relevant information from a company's documents and fine-tuning, which essentially tailors the AI model to the company's unique needs and data.
So a company with a large amount of data, say a retailer with years of customer purchase history, could potentially use that data to create a custom AI expert that understands their customers better than any human ever could.
That's the exciting possibility here.
Yeah.
We're moving beyond generic AI models to a world where companies can have AI that's specifically tailored to their industry, their processes, and even their own internal language.
Now let's move on to something that really caught my eye, the way we search for information.
Okay.
Google Cloud is predicting some pretty big changes in the way enterprise search works.
Yeah, this is a big one. We're talking about AI-powered search that can understand the context of your query and find information from a variety of sources, not just text documents.
So instead of just searching for keywords, I could ask a question like, what were the key takeaways from last month's marketing meeting about the new product launch?
Exactly.
And the AI would be able to find the relevant information from meeting notes, presentations, even emails.
Precisely. And it wouldn't just give you a list of files. It would actually synthesize the information and present it to you in a way that's easy to understand and act on.
This could be huge for productivity. Imagine being able to instantly access the information you need without having to waste time sifting through endless emails and documents.
It's like having a personal research assistant who can instantly pull up the most relevant data for any project or task.
Yeah.
It could revolutionize the way we work and learn.
Okay, so we've talked about how AI is changing the way we work internally. But what about the customer experience? Several of these sources suggest that AI is going to have a major impact on how companies interact with their customers.
This is where AI's ability to personalize and anticipate needs will really shine.
Okay.
We're talking about hyper-personalized recommendations that go beyond basic algorithms, search engines that understand your intent, not just your keywords, and seamless customer support across all channels.
So as a customer, I could expect a much more tailored and efficient experience, whether I'm shopping online, browsing in a store, or contacting customer support.
Exactly. And as a business, you could expect increased revenue efficiency and customer loyalty. It's a win-win for everyone.
But of course, with all these advancements comes the question of security.
Of course.
Google Cloud points out that while AI can be a powerful tool for improving security, it also creates new challenges.
It's a double-edged sword, for sure. On one hand, AI can help detect and combat threats in real time, automate security tasks, and speed up response times. We're already seeing this in areas like fraud detection and cybersecurity.
But on the other hand, cybercriminals can also use AI to develop more sophisticated attacks.
Exactly.
So it's a constant arms race between the good guys and the bad guys, both armed with AI.
It is. It's a high-stakes game, and it's only going to get more intense as AI technology continues to evolve. The key will be to stay ahead of the curve, constantly developing new defenses to counter emerging threats.
Now let's shift gears and talk about something completely different: robots.
Okay.
Goldman Sachs makes this really interesting analogy about how kids learn to walk before they learn to read, and how AI needs to experience the physical world to truly understand it.
It's a brilliant comparison, I think. For years, AI has primarily been trained on digital data, text, images, code. But the physical world is full of nuances and complexities that are difficult to capture in digital form.
So how does AI start walking in the physical world?
Through the convergence of AI and robotics. We're talking about robots powered by large language models, LLMs that can learn and adapt in real time based on their interactions with the physical environment.
So instead of just being pre-programmed to perform specific tasks, these robots would actually be able to learn and evolve as they interact with the world around them.
Exactly. It's a paradigm shift in robotics.
That's incredible.
And what's really interesting is that this could have a huge impact on everyday technology.
Okay.
Goldman Sachs suggests that AI working through the physical world could make our everyday devices much more capable.
So you're saying that my webcam could become a powerful sensor, my microphone, a studio quality recorder,
Exactly.
all thanks to AI.
AI could transform the very capabilities of our devices, making them far more intelligent and adaptable than we ever imagined.
It sounds like this convergence of AI and robotics is going to be a major driver of innovation in the years to come.
Absolutely. It opens up endless possibilities for AI to solve real-world problems in ways we haven't even thought of yet.
Okay, let's move on to a topic that's a bit more complex, AI regulation.
Okay.
Goldman Sachs predicts a shift from broad global guidelines to more specific local rules.
This makes sense given the diverse applications of AI and the varying levels of risk involved. It's difficult to create a one-size-fits-all approach to regulation that's effective across all industries and use cases.
But won't this create a lot of complexity for businesses operating in multiple locations or dealing with global customers?
It certainly adds a layer of complexity. Companies will need to be diligent about understanding and complying with the specific regulations in each region where they operate.
But beyond just following the rules, Goldman Sachs also emphasizes the importance of responsible AI principles. Can you explain what that means in practice?
It's about businesses taking a proactive approach to the ethical implications of AI. It's about ensuring transparency in how AI systems are developed and used, and ultimately using this technology for good.
So it's not just about compliance.
No.
It's about making conscious choices to ensure that AI is used ethically and responsibly.
Exactly. And this is something that companies will need to prioritize as stakeholders become increasingly concerned about the potential risks of AI.
Now, for our final topic in this section, let's talk about large model consolidation.
All right.
Goldman Sachs uses an interesting analogy comparing the development of large AI models to Formula One racing.
Okay.
Where there are many cars but only a few engine makers. Because engine development is so costly and complex.
It's a great analogy. The investment required to develop and maintain the largest and most advanced AI models is enormous. Not every company will have the resources to do it themselves.
So just like Formula One teams rely on a few specialized engine suppliers, businesses might depend on a small number of providers for their AI engines.
That's the likely scenario. It's already happening in other areas of technology like cloud computing and operating systems where a few major players dominate the market.
But doesn't that raise concerns about monopolies and stifled innovation? If a handful of companies control access to cutting-edge AI, what does that mean for smaller businesses and startups?
It's a valid concern. It's a delicate balance between leveraging economies of scale to develop advanced AI and ensuring a level playing field for smaller companies.
Right.
We'll need to keep a close eye on this trend and see how it plays out.
All right, we've covered a lot of ground here, from hybrid workforces to AI regulation to the rise of robots.
Yeah.
It's a lot to take in.
It is.
But I think we've set the stage for a really interesting discussion about what all this means for you, the listener.
Absolutely, I agree. It's one thing to talk about these trends in the abstract, but the real question is, how will this impact your life, your work, your future?
Right.
We'll delve into that in the next section.
Perfect.
Sounds good. Before we jump into the listener's perspective, I think it's worth circling back to that idea of large model consolidation.
Okay.
You raise a really important point about the potential impact on smaller businesses.
It's something I'm really curious about. If access to these powerful AI models becomes concentrated in the hands of a few big players, does that mean startups and smaller companies will be at a disadvantage?
It's a definite possibility. Developing and maintaining these large models is incredibly resource-intensive. It requires massive amounts of data computing power and specialized expertise. Smaller companies might simply not have the resources to compete on that level.
So does that mean we're headed towards an AI landscape dominated by a few tech giants?
Not necessarily. There are a couple of things that could mitigate this risk. First, we're seeing a growing movement towards open-source AI models.
Okay.
These are models that are freely available for anyone to use, modify, and build upon.
Okay.
This could help level the playing field, giving smaller companies access to powerful AI capabilities without having to build everything from scratch.
That's encouraging.
Yep.
But even with open-source models, wouldn't there still be a need for significant technical expertise to adapt and implement them effectively?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's where another trend comes in. The rise of AI as a service. Think of it like cloud computing, but for AI. Instead of having to build and manage their own AI infrastructure, companies can subscribe to services that provide access to pre-trained models and the computing power needed to run them.
So smaller companies could essentially rent the AI capabilities they need without having to make huge upfront investments.
Exactly. This could be a game changer for startups and smaller businesses, allowing them to compete with larger companies on a more even footing.
Okay, so there's hope for a more balanced AI landscape.
Yeah.
But let's shift our focus now to the individual.
Right.
We've talked a lot about the big picture trends, but what does all this mean for you, the listener?
The most important takeaway is this. The future of work is evolving rapidly, and AI is going to be a major driver of that change. Whether you're an employee, a manager, or an entrepreneur, you need to be prepared for this new reality.
It's not about panicking or fearing that robots will take over.
Yeah.
It's about being proactive, adapting your skill set, and embracing the opportunities that AI presents.
I completely agree. The jobs of the future are going to require a different mix of skills. We're talking about things like critical thinking, creativity, problem solving, and emotional intelligence, the skills that are difficult for AI to replicate.
So if you're listening to this and wondering how to prepare yourself for this future, where should you start?
The first step is to simply be aware of these trends. Stay informed about how AI is evolving and how it's impacting your industry. There are tons of great resources available, online articles, podcasts, even online courses that can help you get up to speed.
And don't be afraid to experiment with AI tools and technologies yourself. There are a lot of free or low-cost tools available that can give you a taste of what AI can do. You might be surprised at how easy it is to start using AI to enhance your own work.
I would also encourage you to think about the ethical implications of AI in your own work. As these technologies become more powerful, it's important to use them responsibly and to consider the potential impact on yourself, your colleagues, and society as a whole.
That's a really important point.
Yeah.
It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of new technology.
No.
But we need to remember that AI is a tool. And like any tool, it can be used for good or for bad.
Right.
It's up to us to ensure that AI is used ethically and responsibly.
Exactly. It's a collective responsibility. We need to have open and honest conversations about the potential risks and benefits of AI, and we need to work together to create guidelines and frameworks that ensure these technologies are used in a way that benefits everyone.
So we've covered the practical steps, but let's have some fun now and explore some of the more speculative aspects of AI. Where do you see this technology heading in the long term?
One of the most fascinating questions is whether AI can eventually develop a kind of common sense that humans take for granted.
Okay.
We've seen AI excel at specific tasks, but can it ever truly understand the nuances of the real world in the same way that we do?
It's a question that gets at the very heart of what it means to be human. What do you think? Is it possible for AI to achieve that level of understanding?
It's hard to say for sure, but if AI continues to evolve at its current pace, and if we can find ways to integrate it more deeply with the physical world, as Goldman Sachs suggests, then it's certainly a possibility.
And if that happens, what does it mean for us? What does it mean for the future of work, for the future of humanity? These are pretty big questions.
They are. And there are no easy answers.
So,
but I think it's important to start asking these questions now so that we can be prepared for whatever the future holds.
So for you, the listener, here's a challenge. As you navigate this exciting AI-powered future, keep these questions in mind. Don't just accept the changes that are happening, but think critically about them.
Yeah.
Ask yourself how AI is impacting your life, your work, and your community.
And don't be afraid to share your thoughts and ideas. This is a conversation that needs to involve everyone. The future of AI is not predetermined. It's something we're all creating together.
Now let's shift gears for a moment and explore a specific aspect of AI that's already having a major impact: the way we interact with information. We touched on this earlier when we talked about enterprise search, but I think it's worth delving a bit deeper. The way we access and process information is changing fundamentally, and AI is at the heart of that change.
It's creating entirely new ways to access, organize, and synthesize information. We're talking about AI-powered search engines that can understand the meaning of your queries, personalized learning platforms that adapt to your individual needs, and even AI assistants that can help you research and write.
So for the listener, this means you have more power than ever before to access the information you need. Whether you're a student trying to learn a new subject, a professional researching a complex topic, or simply someone who's curious about the world, AI can help you find what you're looking for and make sense of it.
It's a truly empowering shift. We're moving from an information-scarce world to an information-abundant world, and AI is the key to navigating this new landscape.
But with all this information at our fingertips, there's also a risk of becoming overwhelmed. How do we filter out the noise and find the information that's truly valuable?
That's where critical thinking skills become even more important. You need to be able to evaluate the information you're finding, assess its credibility, and determine its relevance to your needs.
So it's not just about having access to information, it's about being able to use that information effectively. It's about developing those higher-level thinking skills that allow you to discern what's valuable and what's not.
Exactly. And that's something that AI can actually help with. There are AI tools that can assist with things like fact-checking, bias detection, and source verification.
So AI can help us to become more discerning consumers of information. That's a really important point.
It is. And it highlights the fact that AI is not just about automation and efficiency. It's also about augmentation and empowerment. It's about giving us the tools we need to navigate an increasingly complex world.
Now let's talk about another aspect of AI that's both exciting and potentially concerning. The increasing sophistication of language models. We've talked about large language models, LLMs, in the context of robotics and search, but their capabilities are far broader than that. LLMs are becoming increasingly adept at generating human-quality text, translating languages, and even writing different kinds of creative content.
It is a fascinating development, and it raises some interesting questions about the nature of creativity. If AI can generate text that's indistinguishable from human writing, does that mean it's truly creative? Or is it simply mimicking patterns it's learned from the data it's been trained on?
Those are big philosophical questions. But I think for the average person, the more immediate question is, how will this impact my work? If AI can write reports, emails, and even marketing copy, does that mean my job is at risk?
It's a valid concern, and there are certainly some tasks that are more susceptible to automation than others. But I think it's important to remember that AI is still a tool. It's a tool that can be used to enhance our productivity, to free us from tedious tasks, and to allow us to focus on the work that requires uniquely human skills.
So instead of thinking of AI as a threat, we should think of it as an opportunity to redefine our roles and to focus on the work that we find most meaningful and fulfilling.
Exactly. AI can be a powerful tool for personal and professional growth. It can help us to be more creative, more productive, and more impactful in our work.
I like that perspective. It's about using AI to elevate our own capabilities and to create a better future for ourselves and for society as a whole.
Now let's shift our focus to a topic that's often overlooked in discussions about AI, its potential impact on education.
And this is an area where I think we're just starting to scratch the surface. AI have the potential to transform the way we teach and learn, but it also presents some significant challenges.
On the one hand, AI can personalize the learning experience, tailoring content and instruction to each student's individual needs and learning style. It can also provide real-time feedback, helping students to identify areas where they need to improve.
So it's like having a personal tutor for every student. That could be a game changer for students who struggle in traditional classroom settings.
Exactly. And it could also free up teachers to focus on more individualized instruction and mentorship. They would no longer have to spend as much time on tasks like grading and lesson planning, which could be automated using AI.
But on the other hand, there are concerns about the potential for AI to exacerbate existing inequalities in education.
That's a valid concern. If AI-powered educational tools are not developed and implemented equitably, they could widen the gap between students from different socioeconomic backgrounds. We need to be very mindful of this risk and work to ensure that all students have equal access to these technologies and the benefits they offer.
So it's not just about developing the technology, it's about ensuring that it's used in a way that promotes equity and opportunity for all students.
Exactly. And that requires a collaborative effort involving educators, policymakers, and technology developers. We need to have a thoughtful and inclusive approach to the integration of AI in education.
Now, I want to touch on something that we haven't talked about yet. The potential impact of AI on our personal lives. We focus a lot on the workplace, but AI is also changing the way we live, interact, and even think.
It's true. AI is becoming increasingly integrated into our everyday lives, from the smartphones we use to the social media platforms we engage with. And as AI becomes more sophisticated, its influence on our lives is only going to grow.
For example, AI is already being used to personalize our news feeds, recommend products and services, and even connect us with potential romantic partners.
And as AI assistants become more capable, they could potentially manage our schedules, book our travel, and even handle our finances.
So on the one hand, AI could free up our time and cognitive resources, allowing us to focus on the things that are most important to us.
Yep.
But on the other hand, there's a risk of becoming overly reliant on these technologies.
That's right. We need to be mindful of the potential for AI to shape our decisions, our preferences, and even our values. It's important to maintain a sense of agency and control over our own lives, even as AI becomes more pervasive.
So the message for the listener is this. Be aware of the ways in which AI is impacting your life, both personally and professionally. Think critically about the benefits and risks, and make conscious choices about how you want to engage with these technologies.
And don't be afraid to ask questions. The more we understand about AI, the better equipped we'll be to navigate this rapidly changing landscape and to shape a future that benefits everyone.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground in this section. We've talked about the practical steps you can take to prepare for the future of work. We've explored some of the bigger philosophical questions about AI and the nature of creativity and consciousness, and we've discussed the potential impact of AI on education and our personal lives.
It's been a fascinating journey so far, and I think we've only just begun to scratch the surface of what's possible with AI.
I agree. And I think it's important to emphasize that this is an ongoing conversation. The AI landscape is constantly evolving, and we need to stay informed, engaged, and open to new possibilities.
Now let's wrap things up with a final thought that I think is particularly relevant for the listener. We've talked a lot about the potential impact of AI on the future of work.
But what if we flipped the script and asked a different question? How can we use AI to create a better future of work?
It's a powerful question, and it challenges us to think beyond the typical narratives of automation and job displacement. Instead of fearing the potential negative impacts of AI, what if we focused on leveraging its capabilities to create a more humane, equitable, and fulfilling work experience for everyone?
That's a really inspiring idea. Instead of being passive recipients of technological change, we can be active participants in shaping that change to create a future of work that aligns with our values and aspirations.
Yep. It's amazing to think about how AI could not just change what work we do, but the entire concept of work itself.
It really could. Think about it for a second.
Yeah.
What if work was less about, those repetitive tasks and more about purpose, creativity?
Collaboration. AI could free us up to focus on, the things that really make us human.
Yeah, I love that idea. Instead of fearing AI as a job killer, we could embrace it as a tool for creating a more meaningful and fulfilling work experience.
Exactly. It's a total mindset shift.
Yeah.
From scarcity to abundance. Instead of worrying about if there will be enough jobs, we could focus on creating new types of work, new ways of contributing, new ways of finding purpose.
So for you, the listener, this is a call to action. Don't just wait for the future of work to happen to you. Be proactive.
Right.
Think about the skills you want to develop, the problems you want to solve, the impact you want to make on the world. AI can be a powerful tool for achieving your goals.
Absolutely.
But it's up to you to define those goals and to use AI in a way that aligns with your values.
And remember, this isn't just about you succeeding.
Right.
It's about making a better future for everyone.
Yeah.
As AI becomes more powerful, it's crucial that we use it to create a more equitable, sustainable, and just society.
I couldn't agree more. We've had a responsibility to ensure that AI benefits all of humanity, not just a select few.
Right.
This means advocating for responsible AI development, promoting ethical guidelines, and ensuring that everyone has access to the opportunities that AI creates.
It's a collective effort, for sure, and it starts with each of us, By educating ourselves about AI, engaging in these conversations, and making conscious choices about how we use these technologies, we can really help shape a future where AI empowers everyone.
We've explored so much in this deep dive, from hybrid workforces and AI agents to the philosophical implications of AI and the future of education.
Yeah, it's been a lot.
It's been an incredible journey.
It has.
And I hope it's given you, the listener, a lot to think about.
I hope so, too. If I had to leave you with one final takeaway, it's that the future isn't set in stone.
Yep.
The future of work, the future of humanity.
Right.
It's not predetermined. It's something that we're all creating together. And AI is a powerful tool, but like any tool, it can be used for good or bad.
Right.
The choice is ours.
That's a great point to end on. Be curious, be informed, be engaged.
Yes.
And most importantly, be hopeful. The future is full of potential, and with AI as our partner, we can achieve incredible things. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the future of AI and work.
Thanks for having me.